As we get started, I want to note that we have sponsorship for Something to Talk About at the Bainbridge Island Senior Community Center from Fieldstone Memory Care. Fieldstone Memory Care, Bainbridge Island, located on Rolling Bay. They offer innovative and compassionate care, and they are now accepting residents. They also are offering day stay and respite programs. To learn more or get a tour, jot down this number, 360-689-4314. And you can schedule a tour of Fieldstone's beautifully appointed apartments, where a messenger house used to be. Also, I'd like to acknowledge that the Senior Community Center is on the ancestral homeland of the Coast Salish people, specifically our neighbors of the Suquamish tribe. They are the people of the clear salt water, and we are grateful for their hospitality, and we honor them. Today's topic on Something to Talk About is transportation. And to join us in this conversation is my colleague and executive director of the Island Volunteer Caregivers Group, Joanne Mayer. Hi, Jo.
Hello, how are you all? It's so nice to be here. Thanks, Rita, for inviting me.
Thank you. Joanne and I have been talking with Greg Dronkert and others about transportation needs on the island. As you probably do know, IVC has a strong core of volunteers, I guess maybe up to 300, you said?
Almost, yep.
Who help with a lot of activities, including transporting people to shopping and to doctor's appointments and other things like the opera shown at the Bainbridge Cinemas, right, at the pavilion. But what we've talked about is that level of support, which is absolutely wonderful and cannot be replicated, is maybe not enough, and that there are frustrations that people have in trying to get around on this island. I'm going to start today's Something to Talk About with a breaking news announcement, which is that the Senior Community Center has been given a grant by the AARP to, in the next 6 months, a little less, complete the process of doing a pilot program to offer transportation for specific events or activities on Bainbridge, using our senior center bus, using the Kitsap bus, that the little van that IVC has, and using volunteers and some paid staff. And Greg Dronkert at Mobility for All is partnering with us and may be able to help with some of the transportation. So we may use some of the money that we got from AARP to fund some paid drivers. We also pay the drivers, some of them who drive the senior center bus. But that's really exciting, and that will allow us a chance to try to look at ways that we might be able to test out transportation. So one of the things that I just want to say, hurrah, is our bus requires you have a commercial driver's license to drive it. And we have some nibbles of people who might be interested in taking that class. But if you go private to get a training, which is what we're looking at, it takes about 3 weeks, and it costs about $6,000, a little under $6,000 to go through the training to get a commercial driver's license. And then you have to take the test and you have to pass it. And we have 3 people who are currently helping to drive for the senior center bus: myself, Jim Rorscheib, and Len Korsland. And so the 3 of us are not quite enough probably to handle all of the transportation that we might see in this pilot between now and the end of the year. If you know somebody who has a CDL or would like to help out, certainly direct them to me, because we're looking at trying to strengthen our transportation skills. Yes, Joan.
Now, once they get the license, do they get paid per trip, or how are they paid, or is it strictly volunteer?
So the senior center has in our budget, and we'll use some of this special grant money to pay people. Our current offer for people who have the CDL is $20 an hour for the
Okay.
trips.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then I'm hoping that one of the things we might talk about are some of the things that you might think are underserved areas in transportation on Bainbridge Island. So if you know about yourself or people who are frustrated by trying to get to activities, Joe and I have had some conversations about it, and we'll share those with you. But I'd first like to hear what you might think are areas where we could use a little more transportation support than we have right now on Bainbridge. Rita.
I was excited when we got the Pingo thing was going to start, and so I downloaded the app and I put in my address. I lived on the north end, up off Westport Madison, and it said that my area wasn't available, or there wasn't service there. And I thought, so I waited a little bit and I tried it again, and it still said it wasn't available. I called the access bus line, and they said because I wasn't disabled or whatever, that I couldn't get it to come to my house. And so and BI Ride, I have to walk over a mile up to 305 in order for that bus to come. And I tried it once or twice maybe, and it's, you know, it's between, sometimes it can be 30 minutes late. And so it's kind of hard. I have a car that I can drive, but I don't always want to drive.
Yeah, well, it's a little expensive, or it might be nighttime.
Exactly. So those are my frustrations. And maybe I'm not accessing the right, you know, things, or have the right number or whatever. But I think those on the north end or off the road, you know, away from Winslow is really kind of tough. So
yeah, so I think you're doing the right thing. Pingo was a way to hail BI Ride, which I'm guessing is not accessible except if you walk a mile. So if you were to go out to the street and try to hail BI Ride, that might work. But again, as you say, it might be a half an hour late, or how long are you waiting out there after you hail it? And yes, access is available only with certain restrictions, as you say, age or disability.
Mhm.
So what kinds of things might you want to go to, Rita, that you are frustrated by?
well, I'd like to come, you know, I'd like to do knitting at the senior center. And so on Thursdays, I'd like to come down. I'd like to help with the gardening at the senior center, and some other, I mean, you know, exercise classes and stuff would be great. I'm trying to get so I can live downtown, so I don't need a car and I can walk to everything. But right now, again, I have a car available, and it's a lot just to go. So I try to do, like, Thursday is my day to come to downtown Bainbridge. I can do some work at the senior center, go to the thrift store, do knitting, do some grocery shopping if I need it. So I try.
So it might be like like you'd say, oh, I'd like to get a ride on Thursday sometime in mid-morning, and I wouldn't need to come back until the afternoon.
Right. Something like that would be good. Or if I, you know, want to go to a daytime movie, and I don't know how long they run, you know, like on Fridays, they have some earlier movies at the Pavilion down at Linwood Center at the movie theater there. It's only, I think, usually 4:30, and maybe on the weekends it's 2:30. Sometimes they have a movie, but there's, you know, can't get down there. But even at the Pavilion, maybe on Friday morning, and then stay down, you know, downtown for a little bit to do shopping or go to the senior center or whatever. So just kind of stuff like that. And it's pretty limited. So it's like 9 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon.
Right. Yeah, there are some programs that are outside of those hours, certainly. And there's the challenge of how long will I have to wait to get back home again, or where would I catch the BI Ride? And then I need to walk, in your case, a mile or more to get home. Yeah. Anyone else want to talk a little bit about transportation frustration? Marcy, can you unmute yourself and let us know what you're thinking about?
Okay, I'm in the downtown, so my problems are downtown ones. But for a long time, for several years, we had that very interesting little electric scooter thing going around that was done by one of the businesses, and they would give rides to anybody down from the downtown to anything in the downtown area, all the way up to Safeway and church, with a church or doctor or shopping or Ace Hardware, until that electric charge ran out. So they would charge it once a day and just run until it didn't run anymore. But it was wonderful because it was always there. They just went around and around until as soon as you saw it, you could just get on.
So yeah, so unlike BI Ride, it was a circulator that had a much smaller route, so you wouldn't have to wait 20 minutes probably, or an hour. And that would be maybe the most that you would have to wait.
Well, we had very serious conversations about having one sponsored by the city. When Debbie Lester was on council, we talked a lot about having something that circled the whole downtown on a regular basis. And when Debbie left, I've never heard anybody mention it again. But
so I'll just jump in to say that I know that our colleague in this project from Mobility for All, Greg Drunkert, has been talking with the city and with the sustainable transportation folks about doing another electric vehicle circulator. I don't know the timing or when it might happen, but it is a live topic for sure. And that would work for somebody like Rita if she were to get a bus or a senior center trip or a ride into town, and then she was at the senior center and she wanted to go to Safeway or to Rite Aid or to Walgreens.
The museum or the library, or
Right, you're a little further uptown, so getting down would be nice for you. Exactly. And there are people for whom that walk up Madison, say from Madison House to the library, is really, really far.
That is strenuous, yes.
Yeah.
Anyone else have a comment about this? Joan. Joan, were you trying to say something? Huh, okay. Joanne, what about some of the things that we have talked about? We were trying to think of things that people might want to come to. Can you share some of the topics that we discussed?
Sure. So first of all, I would just like to say that IVC, Island Volunteer Caregivers, is excited to work with Reed and the Senior Center and all of you on this project. The end goal is to make sure that all of us in this community can access the wonderful things about this community. We want you to go to the Senior Center. We want you to go to the museum when you want to. We want you to go shopping. And between the Senior Center and IVC, we're working on ways to improve transportation for older adults. Through IVC, like Rita and Marcy, through our organization, we can provide you transportation through volunteers. So anybody in this group has that ability to work with IVC, to get on board with IVC, and we can get you to places that you want to go, but it's kind of an on-demand kind of thing, and it's through volunteers. And you shouldn't be afraid to use that, because we're happy to help. However, we do think it's a great thing for specific locations, like the Senior Center, that you go multiple times a week, or you go often, to have this wonderful vehicle to get you to the Senior Center, and maybe other things. Maybe you would like to go to the farmer's market, and there's a group of people that want to go to the farmer's market every Saturday. So I think it's great for IVC because it frees our volunteers from taking people to medical appointments. And this is a way of getting you to places that you want to go as well, so if you wanted to go to the market, that would be great. If you wanted to go, for example, Battle Point has these wonderful concerts and movies in the summertime. Maybe we would have a bus that is, a direct destination place where you can take it. We can pick you up and take you to a specific concert at Battle Point. So those are some of the other things that we're thinking about. How does that sound to you?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, great.
Joanne?
Yes.
I use IVC all the time, every week, and I have gotten a special person to take me each week, and that has worked out beautifully.
Oh, wonderful.
Because she goes off to another volunteer thing while she waits for me at the senior center. Anyway, that would be perfect, and I can't say enough for you guys. And then one day, one of the drivers missed me, and who is it, Martin? What's the lady on the phone?
Oh, Morgan, yes.
Morgan. Oh man, she closed up and she came and got me and took me to the senior center and was waiting for me when I got out. Now, talk about good. You guys are good. Goodbye.
Oh, thank you.
Don't run away.
Don't go anywhere. Oh my goodness, you're a great advertisement for IVC. So thank you.
I will any day. And I don't need any pay. I'll do it for nothing.
So Francis, I don't know how long you've been listening to this, but we're talking about needs for transportation, and the Senior Center received a grant. It was announced this morning from the AARP to do a pilot program for transportation to specific events. And we're collaborating with Island Volunteer Caregivers and a group called Mobility for All, which is a nonprofit that is associated with Greg Drunkert, who is a transportation guy on the north end of the island, who has been providing commercially transportation for town and country markets to deliver groceries via electrical vehicle. So
that's true.
I know that you don't live on the island, and I'm wondering if there are specific events or activities that you often feel like it would be great to be able to catch a van and easily show up for here somewhere in Bainbridge.
Yeah, it would be incredible. And I know there have been a couple of other friends of mine that have expressed interest, but they talk about transportation, and one of them just doesn't drive, and she doesn't want to have to depend on her friends. We're happy to help her, but if she could find another way of transporting without having to ask friends all the time. And I apologize for being late. I had an issue that I had to deal with on my computer.
All right.
Fascinating. Congratulations. That's a wonderful research project to do. I think.
Yeah, it's a pilot, which is the challenge. Obviously, we just have a few months to try it out, but we are hoping that we can, in this process, both learn what kinds of things people want to do, what they might use this for on an ongoing basis, and start to speculate about how it might be funded on an ongoing basis. Because it's important, I think, to have options. There's nothing wrong with access. It's an absolutely wonderful program. There is a single taxi company on Bainbridge Island with usually one car. There's no real Uber or Lyft service here. And BI Ride is really the best on-island choice for people, and it is not running on Sundays or not in the evenings, it's restricted to the island. So if there's somebody in Suquamish or Paulsbo who's trying to participate with activities on the island, that takes you over a couple of different bus lines, I think.
I would like to ask you, have any of you used Access? The Access program.
So we heard earlier about somebody who tried to use it and wasn't eligible. You either have to be, I think it's 80 or disabled. You need to make a reservation the day before. Then I think there's a 2-hour window for access where they say they will pick you up. And so you need to be available basically during that time period. And they will take you anywhere in Kitsap County. So if you do need to go to an appointment in Silverdale or something like that, and they will come to your door. So you don't have to walk a mile to catch the bus. And they will knock on your door.
Yeah, I've seen them around, but I understand that you have to go to Bremerton to get qualified. I don't know if there's
No, you can fill out a form and mail it in, and we have them here that we will print out for you, or you can find them online. And I will put a link to the recording of this to the access application. So if somebody's,
how do you prove your age online?
well, you give them your birth date and information like that, so they can verify it.
Yeah. This friend of mine has wondered about it, but she said, "How do I get to Bremerton?" And that was
right. Yeah, you do not need to go to Bremerton for sure.
Good.
And also, I'm hoping that we will have Kitsap Transit here in October. That's several months away, but for our, it's actually late September for our resource fair. And they also have helped people sign up in person at that location. And we invite them from time to time to come to the center. Another comment from Joan Burwell. You need to unmute yourself, my friend.
Are we talking about ORCA?
No, we weren't. We were talking about access, which is.
But I say, doesn't that coincide with ORCA? That.
Yeah, ORCA is a way that you can have a account to pay for bus fares and so forth.
So that's separate from the actual transportation.
Yeah, ORCA is a method of paying for transportation.
It's a money thing. It's just a money.
Right, and you can have an ORCA card that demonstrates that is issued to you because of your as a senior for your age, and so you can then be guaranteed of the discount. Because
I finally got one, Reed, and I've got $30 in it, and I've never used it because I've never needed to because of IVC. I like my IVC.
There you go, Joanne. Rita, did you have something you wanted to say?
I was going to say I had an ORCA card. I lost mine. I just haven't been down to get a new one, but I've had an ORCA card for a long time, and I can use it on the ferry, on the buses in Seattle, on this light rail, and it is really great. And then it can be set up so it can automatically reload when it gets down. Like I'll put $100 on it, and then if it gets down, it will automatically, out of your checking account, you can put it on, it will automatically reload it for you so that you never have to worry about not having funds. And you can put as much or as little as you want in there, but it's so much easier than trying to have exact change. You know, I can take the ferry, on the ferry and take it and catch the bus between 1st and 2nd on Madison and go up to Virginia Mason. And I just have that little card and I don't have to worry about carrying any money. So it's really, really nice to have.
Mickey.
Yeah, I've had an ORCA card since I worked. They used to pick me up at 5:30 in the morning or 5:15 in the morning to catch the ferry. And I didn't know that there was an age limit. Is that new?
No, there's anybody at any age can buy an ORCA card and they can be refilled automatically.
Okay.
The idea is that you can, if you can get an ORCA card that identifies you as a senior, so that you can then get the reduced fares with a senior ORCA card, but it's the same system and anybody at any age can use it. Marcy?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to point out that we're all talking Seattle. They're called all of Kitsap Transit lets you use an ORCA card. So when you take a BI ride, you use your ORCA card. You don't have to carry cash around with you right here. But be careful if you change your Visa card and you have an automatic load, it doesn't automatically load anymore. If you forget to go in and change the number of years, you end up using it and finding yourself with no money. So you have to be very careful or carry cash.
Don't you have an online account to do that? I have an online
If you
account.
forget to use your online account
Ah.
and when you change your visa.
Ah,
So just remember, you have to think about all the things that changing your visa has complications of all those online accounts. And you
yes,
have to remember which of them are on automatic load and which of them
which
are
runs out. Yeah, the expiration date on your credit cards comes into play sometimes.
Yeah, besides that does too.
Yeah.
So we have talked before when Kitsap Transit comes here to the center about issuing Orchid cards, reduced fare Orchid cards here as well. Joanne.
I unfortunately have to leave you, but I just want to make sure that, again, to reiterate, I think that this is a wonderful, wonderful grant and pilot opportunity. So we'd love to work with all of you on this. And again, to those specific designated locations, if you can continue to help us identify that, that would be wonderful. And if you have additional drivers for the van, I'm sure Reed would, that brings Reed a big smile.
Yep.
So, and lastly, I'll just say, IVC is there for you. So please, look into that as well. We'll be happy to try to accommodate you through volunteers and IVC. But I'm looking forward to having a long-lasting relationship with all of you and with Reed. He's my buddy in all this, because we just want to make sure that, the entire population is served. Every older adult gets to take advantage of our wonderful, wonderful Bainbridge Island, facilities and opportunities. So at
So
that,
to
I'll
call,
leave you.
so 206-842-4441 is the number if
For
you are
IVC.
trying to get signed up with IVC.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for dropping by. And
Thank you.
if you have suggestions for the trips, email info@biseniorcenter.org, and I'll keep a list. And we'll try to, our idea here, thank you, Joe. Our idea here is to try some different rides over the course of the 12 weeks that we're going to run this pilot. So it may not be perfect for you forever, but we're trying to see, for example, if we were to offer rides to the farmers market, would there be enough interest for people to sign up, and we would do that. If not, then we would move on. Are there specific activities like the Met operas at the pavilion that might benefit from having people get picked up and taken to the opera and then picked up from the opera and taken back home again? Or is it a Thursday afternoon, knitting group or exercise class that is going to, get people involved, and we recognize, or that sail class on Wednesday, we could really use people getting a ride there. Joan.
What about going to church on Saturday night or on Sunday morning?
So that's something that we have talked about. There are a number of different faith congregations. Some meet on Saturday, some meet on Sunday. And the challenge will be to try to figure out what the collaborative hours are, since we're likely paying somebody to drive the bus. But that is one that I think both Joanne and I have heard, I'd like to get a ride to church and home. So that's probably one that we will investigate. And I'm going to put together a survey, another darn online survey, but it's going to be very short, asking for what might be the interest in some of those things. And I'll definitely put religious services on there.
Different churches also.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, you might be. I mean, how?
Yes, Saturday night or Sunday morning.
Right. Or the synagogue go
Yes.
to temple on Saturday morning.
Yes.
So that is the story, ladies and gentlemen, or ladies and ladies.
This was very worthwhile. Reed, thank you very much for hosting it.
Yes, and if you have any thoughts as we break up, always
Yeah.
feel free to reach out to me either
No,
using
I
my
will.
direct email or info@BI Senior
Lost my-
Center or 206-842-1616.